The fight for IMAX. How studios beg and barter to get Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, and more blockbusters on premium screens. There has been a battle brewing between two of Hollywood's blockbuster talents. In one corner, Tom Cruise is gearing to take a victory lap from the behemoth success of Top Gun Maverick with a sequel to his other big action franchise, and of course that would be Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's expected to be one of the biggest summer movies when it opens on July 12th. In the other corner, Christopher Nolan, one of the few directors so famous that his name alone can draw crowds, is readying to release his highly anticipated Oppenheimer. The big-budget drama about the creation of the atomic bomb launches just a week later on July 21st. At the center of the drama is access to IMAX screens and other premium large formats, and how the company's 401 North American screens will be divided between the two box office draws. Except in this case, there wasn't much negotiation. Paramount's Mission Impossible 7 is only playing on IMAX screens for 1 week. 1 week. As first reported by Puck, a newsletter that covers the media business, before it has to relinquish all of its showtimes to Oppenheimer. And that's despite Cruise making a few calls around town, apparently to remind everyone that not even a year ago, Maverick revived the summer box office at movie theaters and earned more than $100 million from IMAX alone. By shorting the IMAX run of Dead Reckoning, he suggests all involved parties will risk losing out on serious coinage. And I have to say that I kind of vaguely agree with Cruise here. Look, Oppenheimer's going to be great, but when you look at the historical box office performance of Christopher Nolan films, they don't rake in nearly as much. Cruise has made a point of doing all of these featurettes when it comes to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. We posted one recently about a one-handed drive through the streets of Rome, which was really cool. You can go check that out on our Instagram or on our Facebook. And then, obviously there was the bike stunt that got a lot of press coverage not that long ago. And they've really made a point to show kind of the practical effects that they have used on this set. And that's not saying that Christopher Nolan didn't do anything like that on Oppenheimer, maybe not at that scale, but of course Christopher Nolan's a very practical filmmaker, right? However, when you're talking about these two movies, I have to wonder what the runtime is, because my guess would be that they're probably around the same amount of time, so you're not necessarily losing showtimes from a theater's perspective. It's just the fact that Oppenheimer will likely have a 50% drop from week 1 to week 2, and Mission Impossible could very well. However, I feel like just gauging general audience reactions to a lot of the things these days, I have a feeling that they may be making the wrong move here. Of course, this is a whole negotiation process that happens between film distributors and studios and theater owners. This is a constant negotiation of, well, we require this amount of screens for this movie, otherwise we won't send you the film. So if you're ever curious at how these negotiations actually work, it's kind of a all hands on deck situation, really. And then, managing for the theater owners, they have to then take that information and relay it to, theater management staff to try and figure out how to schedule these shows around. And I can tell you from my experience as a theater manager, one of the things that I always looked for was packing the biggest movie in the biggest screens, particularly the premium large formats, your IMAXs, your ScreenXs, anything like that is where you would want to put something like Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. And from my perspective, if I was still managing and running my theater, I would probably venture to say that I would feel more comfortable putting Mission Impossible in the IMAX screens for at least 2 weeks, maybe even 3, depending on the situation and what Oppenheimer's numbers were looking like. We'll just have to wait and see what the box office is going to be, but my guess would be that this is a giant mistake, and it, because it's looking like you're going to have a situation where Mission Impossible is for 1 week, and then you just have Oppenheimer until the next biggest release. And that's a lot of money that Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is going to be losing out on. Those tickets are infinitely more expensive than your regular screens, and that's costing some money. And we saw with Maverick how much people were going to see that movie in premium large formats like your IMAXs, like your Dolby Cinemas, and it made up a significant portion specifically of the opening weekend box office numbers, which are important. So this is really curious at how this is going to all play out, but we're going to stay tuned for July and see what comes of it right here on the Into the Burrow podcast and on our YouTube channel. So let me know what you guys think of that down in the comments below.